Today, I'm going to show you guys how to stun your opponent's board like crazy with the brand new Blue Flare deck for the BT10 format. Hello Digimon players and fans, welcome back to another brand new Digimon deck profile and in-depth building guide video. Blue Flare is the new Digimon line that is introduced in BT10 and many players are super hyped for this archetype and deck. There's a lot of synergy between all the cards that help accumulate a mass amount of resources very quickly, and when you get there, you pop off like crazy. You can also play aggressively thanks to the all-new save mechanic, which lets you place your Digimon underneath your tamers when they're deleted, and then they can be used as resources later on. And that is to bring out your boss Digimon, which are both your Metal Greymon and your Deco Greymons. But that's not all. Combining the good old source stripping and stunning effects, you can control your opponent's board and slow them down a lot. The win condition is to rinse and repeat this process and swing at your opponent's security to win the games. It goes without saying that this is clearly one of the top tier or even tier 1 deck of the format. Like always, I will be featuring my very own in-depth guide of my build along with other tech cards you can include when constructing the deck, and as well as a how to play combo segment afterwards to show you guys how it all works together. So let's jump right into the deck profile first. Alright, like always, let's begin with our Digi Eggs. We have the 4 copies of Upamon and the 1 copy of the brand new Babydomon. Both these Digi Eggs are really intended for draw power, Upamon letting you draw 1 when attacking once returned as long as your opponent has a Digimon with no sources, and Babydomon is while if your opponent has 2 or more Digimon, you get to draw 1 as well. And because this current format, many decks do tend to go wider, which allows you to resolve your Babydomon a bit more frequent than usual, which is really nice. And if you guys have a different preference when it comes to the ratio, you can definitely play 4 Babydomons and 1 Upamon instead, but 5 eggs is totally okay for the deck. Now, just before I show you guys the rookies, there is something that has been bothering me quite a bit while making this video. And that is many of you guys who are watching right now are not even subscribed. So please do help me out and click on the subscribe button right now, as we got lots more Digimon BT10 content for all of you. Also, give this video a like because it just really helps with the channel as well. But yes, let's get back into the rookies. Now let's move into our rookies. We actually have the 4 copies of the BT3 Vmon, which has jamming. Jamming is just super good for early game chip and early game pressure for this deck, and it just gives you a lot of value when you can play this card super early in the game, really. Next, we have 4 copies of Madoki Betamon, being able to shut off your opponents from gaining memory. There's a lot of different gaining memory effects currently in the format, and this Madoki Betamon can single-handedly shut a lot of those decks down, which is really good. And yeah, 4 copies is just really great for consistency. Last for the rookies, we're going to showcase the brand new rookie, the core rookie that you want to be mainly playing in this deck for Blue Flare, which is our Gaussmon. This brand new Gaussmon has a on deletion, letting you play a level 4 Blue Flare from your hand for free, and it has to be suspended. This is really good because it synergizes very greatly with all of our level 4s, which many of them have on play effects. And this is where we're going to start bridging into our level 4s. The first brand new level 4 we got right here, super good card, is this Blue Flare Greymon. Really cool because this is a Greymon that's actually blue. On play, you reveal the top 4 cards of your deck and you get to add 2 cards with Blue Flare in their traits among them, and you place the rest back into the bottom of the deck in any order. And if you have a Christopher or Kiriha in play, you may return 1 Metal Greymon from your trash to your hand instead, giving you a lot of search power, but also being able to recur your Metal Greymon is what makes this card super good. Not only that, it also has a inheritable of when attacking once returned. If this Digimon has Blue Flare in its traits, and if your opponent controls 2 or more Digimon in play, you can unsuspend this Digimon. Really great stuff, and what Blue does best is unsuspending, making multiple attacks, and you definitely want to maximize 4 copies of this Greymon no matter what. Next, we got even more level 4s which we have the 4 copies of Digimon. Digimon on play, you get to draw 1, and for every Digimon your opponent has, you get to draw 1 more extra card. This card is exceptionally good during the mid or even late game because when your opponent has a super wide board, dropping this card gives you so much value and so much draw power so you can find all your combo pieces. Not to mention, you can also save it underneath one of your tamers on deletion as well, and provides an inheritable of while your opponent has 2 or more Digimon in play, this Digimon gets extra 1000 DP. And we still got more level 4 blue flares to go. This time we have male Bergermon. And again, on play, if you have Kiriha, you may return 1 Metal Greymon from your trash back to your hand. If you don't have a Kiriha, you can actually play a Kiriha from your hand for free, giving you so much value with this card. It's just super good. Once again, on deletion, it has save where you can put it underneath one of your tamers. Also, with its inheritable of when attacking once per turn, as long as your opponent controls 2 or more Digimon, you can also stun one of their Digimon without any source requirements, and basically they cannot block or attack until the end of next turn, which makes this card super good and a whole new level of powerful stunning for blue. Next, we got some red spice, some chili pepper spice to add on. We got the classic starter deck 1 Greymon right here. You guys know whenever I can add security attacks and be more aggressive in any deck I play, I always would like to add this in, and this Greymon comes in real handy because you can actually use it for Digi-crossing, which is going to be really good, and I'll showcase you guys exactly how to do it with this card in the combos later. Last but not least, to round up for the level 4s, we have 1 Kumamon right here just to do hybrid for game. The reason why I opt in for Kumamon instead of Lobomon and the others is simply because stripping sources does come in handy and synergizes with some of the strategies in this deck, which works very well. Sometimes I do wish I have an extra copy of Kumamon just so I can swing in with extra hybrids, which is always going to be nice, but deck space is tight, so for now I'm just going to go with 1. That's it for our level 4s, which we had a lot to talk about, but now let's finally talk about our level 5s, which is our core boss Digimon of the deck. And first and foremost, we're starting off with the 4 copies of the brand new Metal Greymon Blue Flare. The first effect is Material Save, where you're going to see a lot of this type of effect for BT10. And basically what it does is that when this Digimon would be deleted, you can place 2 of its sources underneath back one of your tamers and basically recycle your pieces later on for more cross Digivolving. Now on play, this Digimon gains Rush for the turn. Then if you did Digi-cross, 3 of your opponent's Digimon with Digivolution sources less than Metal Greymon cannot attack or block until the end of the opponent's next turn. You can stun 3 things immediately on play with this card. Now, it is a 7 cost to play, but you guys know with the new brand new mechanic of how you can reduce your play cost is via Digi-cross. Digi-cross -2. And you guys can see specifically it requires a Greymon and a male Bergermon, and you have to place it in this particular order with Greymon at the top and male Bergermon underneath, and then you can reduce the cost by 2 for every sources, meaning that you can reduce it by 4 costs, essentially making this Metal Greymon 3 costs to just hard drop. And yeah, once again, this is your core boss Digimon. Once he comes out, you stun your opponent's board, make it hard for them to play, and then you can just swing in aggressively with it as much as you can. That's really the whole idea of this card. Next, we have sort of like the better version or the Digivolve version of Metal Greymon here, where we have Digimon. Once again, lots of things to read, lots of things to showcase and talk about, but first and foremost, it has Armor Purge. Armor Purge, you guys know from BT8, basically what it does is that it provides sort of like a protection. When this Digimon would be deleted by battle or any effect, you can just delete the top card, saving the one underneath instead. Its second effect is on play or when Digivolving, and you can place a Digimon with Blue Flare from your hand or from underneath one of your tamers into underneath this Digimon. Then, if there is Digimon in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, one of your opponent's Digimon cannot attack or block until the end of the next turn. Once again, more stunning, which helps you control the board and lock your opponent down, and you can be aggressive with this card as well. Once again, it has Digi-cross, but this time you would require Metal Greymon and a Digimon to reduce the cost by 2, and you're gonna have to pay 5 memory to hard play this card. Now, however, the main idea actually we play this card is more so we actually want to Digivolve it on top of our Metal Greymon instead, and it gives us the best value from there onwards as well, because we only pay 2 for Digivolving on top of a level 5, which is what Metal Greymon is anyways. Last but not least, we have one more level 5 to showcase, where we have the Blue Flare Cyberdramon. This is really cool effect because it's like the first in many effects that sort of activate from the hand. Basically, if you have a Digimon with Blue Flare in its traits, by paying 3 memory, you can place this card from your hand underneath that Digimon as its sources, and then you unsuspend that Digimon. So by paying the 3 memory, you get to basically make more swings, which is really, really cool. And it provides an inheritable of extra 1000 DP as long as your opponent has 2 or more Digimon, and it's all turns as well. So one of tech is just really nice. I like to make those extra swings every now and then, and I do find it very handy. So yeah, really, really cool card too. So that's it for all of our Digimon. We have no level 6s, no level 7s. The deck does not need any of those because a lot of the core strategies focuses on your level 4s and your level 5s. So let's just jump straight into our tamers. First and foremost, the brand new Blue Flare tamer where we have Kiriha, or also known as Christopher. Mainly we play him 4 copies of because he is our memory tamer, really, really crucial, but not also just a memory tamer, but it has very nice effects that synergizes with the whole Digicross situation. Because your turn, when you would play a Digimon with Digicross requirements, you can suspend this tamer and place cards from under this tamers or any other tamers you have as Digivolution cards for the Digicross. So that's really where he's there for. He's there to sort of synergize with the on-deletion saves, so you can stack up and sort of retain your resources when you want to go for the big Digicross plays. And that's all he is there for. And of course, just like any other tamer on security, when it gets checked, you get to play it for free. Next, we have more tamers, bringing back the good old BT5, Sora and Joe. You guys can probably see it coming. There's a lot of stunning. There's a bit of source stripping in this deck as well. So having Sora and Joe gives you a lot of value. With wide boards coming back once again, Sora Joe can give you extra 2 memory at the beginning of your turn. And as long as your opponent has no sources, Sora and Joe is just super good. Also, when attacking, you strip more sources that your opponent has as well. Further control the board and synergize with your stunning capabilities. Super, super good. That's it for our tamers. Let's talk about our options. Brand new option, a brand new memory boost that is solely dedicated for the Blue Flare archetype, and we have Blazing Memory Boost. Super good card because main, you reveal the top 6 cards of your deck and you add 2 cards with Blue Flare in their traits among them to your hand. And you may play a Christopher among them without paying memory costs. If you get those hits, you are just absolutely snowballing super strong with this deck. Not only that, it has delay gain 2 memory. So for a 5 cost memory boost, it is super efficient in what it does. It's super good, so much value, really, really good. And you want to maximize that 4 copies of this card no matter what. The other thing to keep in mind is that both this card and Kiriha also have Blue Flare in its traits, meaning that you can actually search for Kiriha as well, other than just playing it, which is really, really good. Then we have another memory boost, bringing back more stunning. We got 2 copies of Howling Memory Boost. Once again, stripping sources and stunning things is what this deck is really all about. Then we have 1 removal card where we have Plasma Decadra Launcher. Now the first thing is when you would use this card, if your opponent has 2 or more Digimon, you get to reduce the play cost by 2, making it 5. You return one of your opponent's Digimon that is level 6 or higher back to their hand. Really great for top end removal, and by only paying 5 memory at times, lots of value right there. Its security effect is to return one of your opponent's Digimon back to their hand and with no level restrictions whatsoever. So pretty good, decent bomb that you want to have every now and then. Last but not least, we have 1 Ice Wall to round it all up for you guys. We all know what Ice Wall does. Super good card, super strong. There is a reason why it's at 1, but that's why we play the 1 of when we can. Okay, now that we finished covering the main deck, let's talk about some other cards that we actually considered to play as well, which are really, really cool. First, Spice here. To add in more red stuff inside here, we have actually a Metal Greymon X Antibody. The really cool thing is that you can actually Digivolve those 0 on top of your Blue Flare Metal Greymon and gain extra security +1 and 3000 DP, which is really, really cool. And sometimes this is a very nice bridge gap. And then sometimes you can even Digivolve your Deca Greymon on top of it afterwards. And yeah, building a strong stack with this is very, very nice. And yeah, I might playtest with this a bit more sometime in the future, but let's talk about other options. We have Innocence Blizzard. Wide board stunning is really what this deck does and what it's really good at. Why not add more to it right here with Innocence Blizzard? Now the other one is Hammer Spark. Very, very traditional, good card to always have. starting with more new blue decks nowadays, you actually don't really need to have as many hammer sparks as you used to. And I feel like there's a lot of memory gaining in my current build anyways, and I don't feel like hammer spark is as necessary as it used to be anymore. But then we got more removal options. The good old simple Kakaida's Breath instead of the Plasma Decadra Launcher. You know, if you guys want something simple, no matter what, you can bounce what anything your opponent has, then Kakaida's Breath is definitely the way to go. But as a also another very good removal option is Battlestar. With wide boards coming back once again, your opponent's going to often enough have 3 or more Digimon, and you can bottom deck one of their Digimon. Any of it for the 5 cost is just very memory efficient and super good as a card. So I might even consider putting that in. But once again, these are just other removal options that you guys can play and consider and juggle around for when you're building your own decks. Okay, now that we got the deck profile completed and all the other cards showcased, let's go into the how to play and sort of like the combo segment of the video. Now let's start off with what you want to be doing in the early stages of the game. Of course, you want to always hatch your egg and really just digivolve your rookies. All of them are all great for you to digivolve, and ideally you want to see either your Vmon or your Gaussmon. In a situation when you do have quite a couple of your level 4s, you do want to see Gaussmon instead, but let's just showcase what the core does usually. So you digivolve into Gaussmon, and then you would play something else or whatever past your opponent, and then your opponent will pass them back to your turn. Once you're ready to go, you'll bring out the Gaussmon, and as long as you have a level 4 such as like Greymon or Decadramon or even Male Bergermon, you know, just so you can get more search value off in the early stages of the game, you just swing right away with the Gaussmon. And if it gets deleted, totally fine. Because if it gets deleted, then you can have your options. You can play one of these level 4s of whichever you like. So if you want to go search, you can play your Greymon, so you can search for cards. If you need draw power, you can go for Decadramon and draw. Although in the early stages of the games, the board is not that wide, so you don't really get to draw too much, but draw is draw. And also, if you have a Kiriha already, you can even play a Male Bergermon, allowing you to set your Kiriha immediately so that you can establish your memory tamer right off the bat, which is going to be really beneficial. Now, during the times in these processes, because these guys are suspended, they are threatened to be removed or deleted somehow, but don't worry, as long as you have a Kiriha, which is why having Kiriha as soon as possible is super important, is because you can material save when they do get deleted. So then you have resources ready to go and stack up. So you want to repeat this process until you start seeing your top end cards, which are going to be your level 5s. And again, throughout the process, you can play Blazing Memory Boost to search more things and continue playing and repeat to do so. So once you've got what you need, you know, let's just say Male Bergermon is right here, you know, not necessarily needing to be underneath a tamer, but if they can be in your hand, you're ready to do your cross plays. Like I always mention, 3 memory is really all you need. You can then begin to hard play your Metal Greymon and using the cross effect. So what you can do is suspend your Kiriha to use both these Greymons and Male Bergermons to slide it underneath, so you only pay 3 memory. And now you're ready to go, because on play this Digimon gains Rush, which is also going to be really nice. You can then choose to swing, unsuspend if you can, and then swing once again and just go aggressive and stun stuff with Male Bergermon and stun stuff with your Metal Greymon from there. Now, if you want to extend the combo a little bit more into your Deku Greymon, since you have a Blazing Memory boost, or in a certain scenario, you might even have Sora and Joe, which gives you a little bit more extra memory at the start of your turn, which is going to be a 5 memory turn combo. You can either pop the boost to gain a 2, go to 0, digivolve into a Deku Greymon, and then you can place something from your hand underneath it. Let's just say if you had a Decadramon from your hand, you can place it underneath, and then you get to stun something once again. And then now we can get to swing as well, and utilize the effects once per turn, and then suspend and swing again. If it ever gets threatened in security, you can always just Armor Purge it, which is really nice. Now, like I said earlier in the video, there's a reason why we play this Greymon. Although this Greymon doesn't have save, but when you digicross, it can be from your hand. So instead of using the source from Kiriha underneath to begin with, you could have actually just used this Greymon from your hand and placed it just like that when you were digicrossing into your Metal Greymon instead. And this is going to be really cool. But essentially this Greymon, both Greymons give you the same sort of outcome, because this Greymon gives you extra security +1, so you're still swinging for 2 checks. This one lets you unsuspend. But I do like the unconditional security +1 a bit more, simply because you don't have to necessarily meet the requirement that your opponent must have 2 or more Digimon, so that you can then just go super aggressive like this. So that's basically it, how you want to play this deck. Very, very simple combos. You rinse and repeat, continue to stun the board, and continue to control the board, and then just chip away your opponent's security and repeat the process as much as you can, and that's how you will win with Blue Flare. That will conclude for my very own deck building strategy and in-depth guide for the Blue Flare deck profile for BT10. If you guys enjoyed the video and found it helpful, please give it a like. If you have any suggestions, recommendations, or questions, be sure to share it with everyone in the comments down below. Overall, the Blue Flare deck has many tools and resources that gives it the consistency for it to reach its win conditions. Metal Greymon is an incredibly efficient card that requires very little for you to commit and to bring out super easily. Although this particular deck isn't as crazy fast or aggressive just like other blue decks, but it does have a fair amount of mid-range effects that helps you with grindy matchups. You establish tempo by controlling or temporarily stopping the pressure from your opponent's wide boards, which forces them to play at your pace, so then you can control the momentum of the game as well. So that will wrap up for the video for today. We got lots more BT10 decks and guides coming, and if you guys want to see more, then be sure to subscribe, turn on that notification bell to stay tuned. As always, thank you so much for watching. You guys have a great day, great night, wherever you are. See you next video, and it's Avault signing